So we go from kind of that fundamental experience of conflict to the question of, okay, given that that is what tends to be the most disturbing aspect of conflict for people, given that when you ask people, this question we just asked all of the participants in the training, what was so bad about it? Well, it was that I felt overwhelmed, I felt powerless, I felt hopeless, and I felt like the other person was completely out of their minds. And that's what was so hard about it. And I felt this loss of an ability to understand this other person. Or I felt like this person wasn't treating me like a human being. I felt like this insurance company wasn't acknowledging my pain. Something about either being weak myself or not being able to understand what the other side is doing. So those are the fundamental aspects that we're going to focus on as mediators. The question becomes, how do we help people with that? And the answer becomes, well, we first of all assume that people have the preference and the capacity to largely shift themselves out of that. Second of all, there is a way we can help to the extent they're willing to engage in a conversation with each other. People will naturally make efforts to both take care of themselves and try to understand each other. And so how do we support that conversation? And kind of the how part of the course is, okay, how can one best support people in having a conversation that maximizes their ability to make these shifts that they want to make toward greater self-care and greater care of the other person. I offer trainings in the transformative model of mediation. I offer 40-hour family mediation courses, and I offer 30-hour civil mediation courses, and also 18-hour advanced courses. And all of them focus on the transformative model and how to support people as they make these shifts from weak and self-absorbed to strong and responsive. I offer transformative mediation courses in Minneapolis in the 40-hour family format, the 30-hour civil format, and an 18-hour advanced format. Yeah. And they're great fun. I mean, the last training I put on, I had everybody who showed up happened to be a lawyer, most of them who practice litigation. And so our conversations often drifted to the question of how can I, as a lawyer representing one party, take into account this relational worldview? How can I support my own client when I also feel obligated to do the other stuff that I feel obligated to do as a lawyer? How can I do that and also support these things that make a lot of sense to me, like open communication and open sharing of information, even information that might be used against my client? How do I support my client in expressing the compassion that he or she often wants to express for the other side? Particularly, that issue came up in in personal injury cases, where there are feelings on the part of, turns out even insurance adjusters have feelings where they want to acknowledge the humanity of the person who is in severe pain. And regardless of the question of how strong the legal case is or how much the insurance company wants to pay, there is a human element there as well. And so these lawyers are wrestling with the question of how do I honor those instincts and desires on the part of my clients. It was interesting, in the last training that I put on, there were two lawyers who shared different perspectives on how much they could really support their clients in having open conversations with the other side in a litigation. And one lawyer took the position, and it was great. Both lawyers spoke very openly about their different strategies. And one lawyer was very open about his, he would certainly withhold damaging information that might damage his client's case in his negotiations with the other side, and he'd encourage his client to withhold that information. And the other lawyer kind of had the attitude that, it's all going to come out, and there's so much to be gained from open communication. And if my client wants to tell the whole story of what happened to the other party, yeah, I guess it's theoretically possible that could somehow change the dynamics in terms of the negotiation by a few $1,000s here and there, but there's so much to be gained. There's so much greater likelihood that these people won't have to sue each other if they have this kind of conversation. So there were different perspectives on what a lawyer might choose to do in a situation where there is a potential conversation between his client, and the other side. So as a mediator, I'm free of really having to make decisions about how I would do that. I get to be in favor of whatever conversation the parties want to have all the time. So it's easy for me. I've kind of dodged that particular challenging situation.
Do you like what you do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, oh, I really love what I do. In one sense, it's very easy because I do not have to take responsibility for the outcome at all. So there's a great chance for me to shirk that responsibility. But I suppose what's more exciting about it is that I get to support people in having exactly the conversation they want to have, and in saying whatever is most meaningful to them about the situation to each other. It's very easy for me to see that I am contributing in a positive way to these people's lives and doing no harm, which I feel like doing no harm is underrated nowadays. And it's not magic. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. In a way, it is magic. Magical things do happen where people have shifts where the conflict becomes totally different, and where they come up with a way to handle things going forward that they both feel really good about. That happens, and that feels like magic when it happens. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes people go away feeling, just about as convinced as ever that the other person is impossible and that they don't know what to do next about it. And so I don't always see amazing results. But even in those tough cases, I feel like, okay, I did no harm. They came in a tough spot. They left an hour or two later. Even if there's no obvious improvement, I still believe that there's at least been some information shared that helps them understand the other person better. And they can make a better decision now about what they need to do next with each other. So kind of worst case scenario, I've done no harm. Best case scenario, magic happens.